I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a good Valentine's Day. Alright, how should I close out my month of MST? I guess I could do a countdown of my favorite episodes, but I already covered a lot of my favorite episodes in that first video and don't feel like repeating myself. I still feel like doing a silly countdown though. Let's see, what could I talk about?
Now, ever since I got into this show, I've always gotten just as much enjoyment out of the host segments as the theater segments. I love these characters. I care about what happens to them. I cheered when Gypsy had her Let's Get Dangerous moment with Pearl, and I got choked up a bit when Mike said this.
I've already got 3 great friends. I'm the luckiest guy in space.
I know the point of the show was not necessarily to establish such likable characters with strong personalities, but when you're sustaining a story about a man isolated in space against his will and the only companions he has are his own creations, some kind of camaraderie is inevitably going to develop. And I'm not the only one who sees this. There is something genuinely touching about the way Joel, Mike, and the bots related to each other, and even to the Mads.
Also, these segments were created by a team of incredibly talented writers, and they are witty and clever and obtuse as hilarious goes. So, to close off MST month, I give you... He got a job today.
My top 20 favorite host segments.
He's bringing home dessert. I just got hired.
Number 20.
Whoa, Tommy, that is one sweet ride.
Well, hop in.
It's kind of hard for me to articulate why I love this skit so much, but I probably don't have to. It's cute, it's silly, it's everyone on the SOL just having fun. Especially Joel.
You know something, mister? You ask too many questions.
Well, I'm only...
You know, I've always wanted to do that.
Number 19.
He did it, he actually did it.
Speaking of silliness, it doesn't get any more so than this.
We'll have fun on the satellite of love today.
This just screams, we did it because we could. First of all, if the irony of a Sesame Street parody being delivered by puppets isn't funny to you, I don't know what to say.
Today we learned A and 3. Today we learned A and 3.
The first sketch definitely tastes like diabetes, and that is funny and all, but it's the second one everybody loves and remembers.
Muchachos, vean separar la propia bolsa. ¡Rompelo!
Is it possible Mike was having too much fun with this?
No, that's not possible.
¡Señor del cine!
I hate you! I've always hated you! What happened to my real father?
Number 18.
He's in that poorhouse where I replace him just like I'm going to replace you if you don't shut up and do as I say.
Stupid. Mike, what the hell are you doing?
Before any spiders have shown up in the actual movie, Mike and the bots waste absolutely no time getting to this sketch because, really, how could they not?
Hey, I'm not the one who sprinted headlong into a large and very obvious web.
What makes it so funny are the increasingly ridiculous ways Crow and Servo describe how Mike managed to get caught in the first place.
Mike, what the hell are you doing?
Apparently he was pogo-sticking blindfolded across the bridge.
At the end of Horrors of Spider Island, Crow says that he's not quite sure what the point of this movie was. I know what the point was. This movie exists so that the best brains could find it and they could do this sketch with it.
See you, Mike.
Well, I'm dead, and we'll be right back. Okay. Shoot! Hey!
Number 17.
Okay, young fresh fellows, I've got the rest of the afternoon off to talk about some of the questions of the universe.
It's a real shame that Monster Go-Go was so painfully boring because the MST3K treatment turned out some of the best host segments in the show's history.
This was also the first episode where none of the host segments related to the experiment in any way because, as writer Paula Chaplin put it, that would imply Monster Go-Go contained something of substance to relate to. One of my favorites is here, when Crow and Servo ask Joel to explain what the deal is with the Pina Colada song, and then proceed to reject any explanation he tries to give them. It's a great example of how the bots really do treat Joel like a father figure, and Joel really does see them as his curious children. And don't get me wrong, I love the Pina Colada song as much as anybody, but you could drive a semi through the plot holes in its story, and Crow and Servo point out every last one of them here.
Okay, listen, all I'm saying is that Rupert Holmes wrote a song about a couple of popular trends, all right?
It doesn't make the hurt go away.
We don't blame you, Joel.
Number 16.
And here's to the guys and gals who like to fly.
It's kind of hard for me to explain this one too. Suffice it to say, I just have a weak spot for anything that involves Tom Servo.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Satellite of Love. As you can see, there's been some changes in Tom. It's a little difficult to explain.
Oh,
so
not difficult at all, Mike.
It's random, it's silly, it makes just as much sense in context, and, really, there is no reason for me to love it so much other than Servo is adorable and Kevin's overstuffed pomposity is adorable.
Now the colorings, is that a camouflage of some sort?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I blend in only with myself, Mike. Makes me incredibly susceptible to being eaten by a barn swallow.
Seriously, I think Kevin Murphy could read the dictionary and I'd find it absolutely hilarious.
But I am still a beautiful butterfly, Mike, and butterflies are free to fly. Fly away. High away. Bye-bye.
And number 15.
I struggled with whether or not I could, in good conscience, put this on the list because technically it does not exist. It's not part of the show, it's barely part of the franchise. But it is one of my favorite host segments.
Hell, who's making popcorn? I don't know, Tom. Sounds like a meteor shower.
This is a deleted scene from the theatrical release of Mystery Science Theater 3000, wherein the Satellite of Love is caught in a meteor shower and Mike and the bots take refuge in a storm shelter. The shelter is hit, compromising the room's air supply. The robots are fine, but if they don't act fast, Mike is in serious trouble. Watching the robots really pull together to help Mike is some of the most heartwarming stuff the show ever saw. The best brains loved it as a great way to expand the robots from these mouthpieces for insulting bad movies into great, strong characters with lovable personalities. Why the executives thought this scene needed to be cut, I have no idea. I'm just glad it was finally released on the Blu-ray.
By the way, prior to the Blu-ray release, the only time this scene had been shown to the general public was at an MST convention held at the Minneapolis Convention Center in 1996, affectionately dubbed ConventroCon 2 Electric Boogaloo by Misties. When Servo launched himself across the room to save Mike, the room broke out into wild applause. Who exactly did Universal think they were going to please when they cut this scene?
It's beautiful. What would I do without you guys?
Hey.
Number 14.
Hey, Mike, there's something about you. I don't know, but suddenly you are a very, very handsome man.
Really?
It's all right, I'm set to...
Oh, hey, who do we got here?
Mike, it's Joel. He's the guy who made us. He's gonna fix our ship.
Aside from Mitchell, Soul Taker is the only other episode to feature both Joel and Mike, and is the only one in which they actually interact.
Now, I wasn't actually aware of this show's existence back when it was still on the air, but I've heard about the infamous flame war that erupted when Mike took over as host after Joel's departure. I heard it got ugly real fast, and, knowing the internet, yeah, I believe it.
This segment just underlines what a huge waste of time the great Joel versus Mike debate even is.
Hey, don't compare yourself, Mike. It ain't healthy.
They're both equally hilarious and adorable for entirely different reasons. Your personal tastes can make you more inclined to one sense of humor than the other, but really, can't we all just get along? It actually does give me hope, though, that the biggest consensus about this episode is that it's great to finally see Joel and Mike on screen together. And the one complaint I always hear from fans is that they wish Joel could have joined Mike and the bots in the theater for one last hurrah. Joel said he didn't want to because he didn't contribute to the writing for that episode, which I can certainly respect, even if it does nothing to dampen my enthusiasm for a potential crossover riff tracks with him and Mike. In any case, Soul Taker is another iconic fan favorite, and I think we can all be glad that even if Joel didn't close out the show he created, he was able to make one last appearance in its final season.
Because the years I spent here on the Satellite of Love were the best damn years of my life, and I wouldn't want you mugs to miss a minute of it.
Really?
Number 13.
what's going on here?
Oh no, it's Dr. Joe Robinson, the hard-drinking, two-fisted, cantankerous, yet lovable hospital administrator.
You know those soap operas that just tread the same story week after week?
On the Satellite of Love. What makes this segment so great? Well, cliche dialogue.
The hell we are. Clear!
Mike gets to first base with Gypsy.
It isn't broccoli I want. It's you.
And, yeah, just a ton of cliche dialogue.
Don't make me shoot you!
Whoa! But most of all, Mike makes out with a giant purple robot. Do I even need to explain why that's funny?
You'll pay, Nelson. You'll pay with your miserable life.
Tom, we're back in the regular world now.
Number 12.
Now, Joel, come on. Being an amplifier makes my innards vibrate. Well, it just makes me feel all funny.
Oh, come on, Tom. Crow's having a good time, aren't you?
I wouldn't go that far, Joe.
Mike?
Okay, sir. Well, I'm going for a record worth having now. Count how many largemouth bass I swallow.
Okay.
Merlin's Shop of Mystical Wonders was the first episode I ever saw. It was recommended to me by a friend who just seems to get me because I was hooked right from the very first scene. Honestly, the riff itself could have been horrible, and I probably still would have been sold on the strength of the comedy with these strange characters alone. Also, I love robot buddies, and Servo just makes the most adorable little evil dictator.
Furthermore, those violating martial law will be torn in half by sumo wrestlers.
Hooray! The opening lyric of the Gamera song has sort of a Rodgers and Hart feel to it. Let me show you what I mean.
Number 11.
Gamera.
Oh, hey, Cambot, bring it down here, okay? Come on, buddy. Up.
Just yank it out. Don't worry about the wires.
He doesn't know what he's doing. You don't know what you're doing, do you, Mike?
Mike wasted no time looking for a way to escape the satellite of love. And though it would take a while for the boss to treat him more like a close friend instead of just the new guy, it was sweet and honestly kind of sad to see them so afraid of being left behind again.
Time, Mike, because
if you find a way out, then you'll go and you'll leave us all alone up here and you'll be gone.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm trying to figure out a way to get us all out of here, okay?
Mike reassures them he won't let that happen, and ultimately he doesn't. And this was their first real bonding moment.
Come on, cheer up. Cheese fight.
The segment later on when the bots try to convince him to open up to them just to tease him about his embarrassing story is not quite as memorable, but it's still a great moment of character development for all three of them, taking the first few steps to becoming the friends they would be by the end. It's also a perfect introduction to Mike's character.
Hapless chap.
This isn't gonna be that easy.
Hey, don't stand under him.
We'll be right back.